Shifting our focus now amid growing calls for leadership change within the Labour Party, UK's Prime Minister Keir Starmer has found himself in the middle of a fresh storm, one that has put his premiership at an unprecedented risk. But the Labour leader remains defiant in his position, and he says that he has not lost authority in his role.
We've had incredible prevailing winds in the 2 years we've been in government in terms of the international volatility and the impact on our economy. Notwithstanding that, we've had two very significant increases in defence spend, and we've just rehearsed that. Secondly, we've stabilised the economy. And I would just gently say this, that whoever is Prime Minister is going to face the same prevailing winds as I am facing. None of that is going to change.
Now, the comments come shortly after several leaders have quit their portfolios. Both Defence and Armed Forces ministers have quit over differences on military spending, piling pressure on Keir Starmer to step down. The Defence Secretary John Healey resigned after he alleged that Starmer's defence investment plan risked making Britain less safe. Healey's two parliamentary aides also resigned in protest. And hours later, Armed Forces Minister Al-Kans resigned after accusing Starmer of failing to adequately support military personnel and invest in defence. The string of resignations weakens Starmer's authority at a precarious moment. Remember, the Makerfield by-election is just a week away, which is likely to see the return of Andy Burnham to the Parliament. Burnham, who is currently the Mayor of Greater Manchester, is seen as the strongest candidate to replace Keir Starmer. Amid the volley of criticism, Starmer has now named Security Minister Dan Harvis as Healey's replacement. Starmer has also replied to Healey in a letter saying that his government has delivered the largest sustained increase in defence spending since the Cold War, and it is committed to keeping Britain secure. The Labour Party, remember, stormed to power in 2024, winning a landslide election centred on fixing Britain's economy and illegal immigration. But since then, a host of issues, including the rising cost of living, controversial tax increases, and anger over illegal immigration, have fueled calls within the Labour Party to replace Starmer. The Labour leader has so far resisted pressure to step down, but with the exit of two top ministers, it remains to be seen if and for how long can Starmer continue to stay at 10 Downing Street. We earlier spoke with our correspondent Stuart Smith from London, listening to what he had to say about the current situation for Keir Starmer.
Yeah, it's the final day of campaigning here in London, and as you outlined there, the battle is looking less like a local election campaign and more like a national one, as well as a referendum on the premiership of Keir Starmer. This is meant to be about bins and potholes, local issues that people care about in the small area that they vote within. So here in London, there are 32 boroughs, and each one of those will be re-electing or electing new candidates to their local councils. There are also national elections in Scotland and Wales, but bigger than all of that seems to be effectively this referendum on the Labour Party and Keir Starmer, which could ultimately lead to his resignation. Now, of course, he's the Prime Minister. He's saying he's not going anywhere, but even the murmurings of the fact that his own party may want him to leave is, of course, damaging to any Prime Minister. And there are perhaps three candidates who could try to change the status quo.